YouTube, what's going on? Heavy Metal 164, Thursday night. I'm going to do a video here of just a few things that I acquired throughout the course of the last week. Starting with this, you guys saw this in my last video, I think, but I want another loose one, and the card is all chipping and not very good, so take another loose one. This was back before the plastic fit inside of the box. So, but that's alright. This car is so sick. One to 64 scale. True to scale. 1976 Cadillac Coupe Deville. And it is a beauty. This is a land yacht from Auto World. Sorry guys, the turnstile is out for conversion. So Auto World doesn't do lens headlight. Well, they I noticed Champion DJK commented on a video. They actually do have a few castings where they do insert headlights. I know I have over 60 of them, and the only two that I have that have insert headlights is the Hennessy Camaro and the True LE Dodge Challenger. I think it's a 2014 Dodge Challenger. But they don't need to do lens headlights because the quality of all the other stuff is so nice that I don't find it all that important. While I do think this car would look better if those were transparent lenses, I don't think it would look significantly better. They just do an amazing job. I just wish that they did more than just the few castings that they do. So that's the one I wanted to start the video with. And then next, so I really like that car, as I've stated. I found that recently, but I like it a lot, and honestly, owning that wouldn't have made a difference in me picking this one up. I've been wanting this one for a long time. I've been watching it on eBay since it came out. I never did find it in the wild, so I finally pulled the trigger on it on eBay. It was $9. That included shipping. So I feel like, you know, it's not a great price, but it's not a bad price. But I love the Ford Broncos, and this is one of the few that I don't have. And I've seen this reviewed on a few different channels. But this is just a beautiful casting. Let's see if I can fix up the light here. So same livery as the Ford Police Interceptor in the background. Same colors. Boy, that looks great. Relatively low number. These are very delicate. You have to be very careful with these spotlights and gumball light. Very delicate. Spare tire on the back. Very, very cool. Steel wheels with the hubcaps. Just an awesome piece. So I dig that, and it rolls great, as most of the Ford Broncos do. I don't know if I've ever had an issue with a Ford Bronco from Greenlight as far as rolling goes. So I have some Johnny that I want to show, I have some Konami that I want to show, and I have some Tomica Limited Vintage that I want to show. So I'm going to start here with the Konamis. This is a Konami I think 2006 Mazda Cosmo Sport. And it's a casting that I don't have. I have a Cosmo, but the one I have is a much later model, and I think it's from the late 70s. This is a great little casting. Really delicate too. You can feel the front bumper kind of shifting, but these do have correct prototypical wheels. Awesome little casting. Look at the brake lights. Very well done by Konami. Very cool car. So I got that one. I got this one, which is sealed. I don't get many of them like this, but I'm going to take it out of the bubble and off of the base. This is a casting that I actually already have, but I like the casting a lot, and I think that has a lot to do with why I got it in a different color. So I don't do that very often, especially if it's not a Skyline casting, which this one is not. I actually didn't get any Skyline castings tonight. No Skylines. Alright, so this is a 1973 Nissan Violet. And I just love this casting. I think it has some of the nicest wheels. I think this was sold in the US as a Datsun 1200 maybe. Very cool little car though. Great detail. Konami is Konami is really a really good company, really good stuff. As I've said before, it's not the best stuff, but it's definitely better than most. Sprung suspension. They bounce all over the place. So, rolls fantastic. So, a really cool Nissan. And then this one also, this one has a cracked bubble, and it's out of the bubble. These ones are kind of pricey on the old eBay. I think this one's over 20 bucks, but you know, I've been looking lately on eBay and it seems like most of them are 20 bucks or more. And that's just crazy to me because I'm not paying anywhere near that for these from the Toy Pimp. But this is a 1974, I believe it's a Generation 1 Honda Civic. And I've had my eyes on this casting for a while, since I got into this JDM stuff. And it is a beaut. Awesome little car. Great little detail. RS Honda Civic. Very, very cool little car. That one rolls really well too. Also has sprung suspension. So that is going to be the Konami. 3 Konamis. Before I get into the TLV, I want to show this Johnny Lightning. This is an eBay purchase. And I can thank Fordsman84 because after watching his video. So last week or a couple weeks ago, I went online and I bought a Johnny Lightning Jeep Cherokee that had the mud spatter all over it. Looks like it's been off-road, and it's a sweet looking Jeep. I should have brought it out here for this video. But after watching Fordsman84's video and seeing how nice the rest of these are, I went on and bought another one. And I have to tell you, these are expensive. These are like a minimum of 20 bucks on eBay, if you can even find one. I didn't realize they were that much. So I bought this. I bought it loose. It's mint condition, but it is loose, which is okay because I was going to open it anyways. And here you go. Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo. This one, unlike my other one, this one has rubber tires with tread. A very aggressive off-road tread with the suspension lift. This is Tomy era, so it does have the plastic base, which I don't care. It has a real rubber spare on top. It has painted fender flares with the rivets. The black door handles. The glass is really clear. Brake lights are detailed. Bumper is painted. The roof rack is painted. And then on the front you have headlights and indicators. You've got the winch with the custom bumper. And it just looks awesome. The only thing that they could have done better, and it's not even really that big of a deal, is they could have painted the indicators on the back. But this is such an excellent example of what this Jeep really looked like. The stance on it is great. The proportions are great. Everything, I mean, this is one of those castings with Johnny Lightning that they totally smashed it. It rolls awesome. It looks sick. So, really happy to have that. I would still like to, I'd like to get all of those, but that's going to be one at a time because they are expensive. So, the last 3 castings that I have in the video are Tomica Limited Vintage. I think that probably they're fairly unique. This one here is, there's no year on it. Usually the box has the year. So I don't know what year this is, but that's all right. It looks to be a late 80s, maybe an early 90s. But what it is a Mitsubishi Galant Vr4. Oh wow, this is a made in China one. I think those are a little bit older. It is so sick looking though. It's black, so my camera's gonna struggle mightily to get it in focus. But yeah, the details on this car are top notch. Top notch. The wheels, the color, headlights, tail lights, you've got your rear spoiler. Just a sick looking little car. These also have sprung suspension, but unlike the Konami, it's got a metal base. It's much heavier and much better detail in the Tomica Limited Vintage. Much better detail than Konami. So that is a very cool car. And then I got this. This is a big, beastly... It's another one that doesn't have the year on it, so I don't know what year this is either. Oh, that's cool. It has accessories. I didn't know it had these accessories when I bought it. That is pretty dope. This is also a China casting. So these China castings are, I think they're made in Vietnam now, so they did make them in China briefly. They were made in Japan, and I don't know if the limited vintage were ever made in Japan. but then they were made in China, and now they're made in Vietnam. So this is a made in China. It's a Nissan 3.5T truck, and it is sick. Amazing detail. Look at the bench seat. I think this is circa 1960s, maybe early 70s. But all of it is die-cast except the base. The base looks to be plastic, feels to be plastic. But everything on this that's painted blue is die-cast metal. There is your tail lights. I'm not sure what that says. Nissan 3500. Very, very cool truck. I love it. And it did come with some accessories. It came with the side view mirror, which pops in right here in that hole. So I'll have to put that on. They roll awesome. Awesome roller. But the accessories that it came with two, are these little plastic, little plastic containers. Got that one there, and this one. They're the same thing, but very cool. Very cool. So that's a really cool Tomica Limited Vintage. I don't have anything like that in my Limited Vintage collection. So that is now the largest TLV that I have. And then I'm going to finish the video with this last one, which is now the smallest TLV that I have. This is the Japanese car era release. So it's one of the bigger boxes with the window. And then inside of it you have the regular TLV box. But I saw this in a video. I don't even remember who the guy was. I have not seen his videos before, but after seeing this one, I actually watched a couple other videos of his, and he actually has some really nice stuff. Seems to collect a lot of similar stuff that I do, but he seems to focus more on large scale. But I did see him pick this one up and review it. And that is what prompted me to get it. Because I had seen this the other day when I was over at the Toy Pimp's place hanging out. I saw it and I almost bought it, but I didn't. But then when I was watching this other guy's video the other day, I was like, you know, I saw that over at the Toy Pimp's house. I think I want to get that now. So I went ahead and got it, and here you go. Copyright date on the base is 2010. It's also a China base. Doesn't have the year on the box either, so I don't know what year this is, but it's a Nissan BE1 or B1. Sick little car. The little luggage bag there on the back. I think this is the first Tomica Limited Vintage I've seen that does not have insert taillights. But nevertheless, still an extreme amount of detail. I love the yellow wheels, the black hubcaps. The headlights, the whole front end looks great. Just a dope little car. The interior looks great. Nice tan interior. You've got your little, what I would imagine that's a canvas top that rolls back. Just a very cool little casting. Sprung suspension, it rolls awesome. So that's the haul for today. some really nice castings. I think I got to get some street views on these ones for sure. So there you go, Nissan B1, the Nissan 3.5T truck. Here's a Mazda Cosmo, which will fit in the truck. And here we have a Mitsubishi Galant. There we have a Jeep Cherokee Laredo. That is a beautiful piece from Johnny Lightning. Behind that we have the Honda Civic. I would say another nice haul. So there you go, guys and gals. What do you think? I hope that you enjoyed the video. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't. And I will holler at the next one. Have a good Friday. Have a good weekend. And find yourselves some awesome diecast.